You leave the conversation, you drive home, you make dinner, maybe you even go to bed. But somehow, you're still arguing with someone who isn't even there. You think of the response you should have given. You replay the tone of their voice. You wonder if they misunderstood you. You imagine what you'll say if it ever comes up again. Hours pass. Nothing changes. Except your mind refuses to let the conversation end. Most people think this is just overthinking. It isn't. Your mind is trying to solve a problem that no longer exists. And until you understand why it keeps reopening the conversation, it will keep stealing your attention long after everyone else has already moved on. Leaving a conversation and leaving it mentally are two completely different things. You've probably experienced this more times than you can count. The conversation ends. You smile. You walk away. Maybe everything even looked normal from the outside, but somewhere between getting into your car and brushing your teeth that night, your mind quietly presses play again. You hear every sentence, every pause, every expression. You start rewriting your answers. You imagine better responses. You replay what they meant. You wonder whether they judged you. Without realizing it, you've turned a 5-minute conversation into hours of mental work. The strange part is that the other person often isn't thinking about it anymore. Your mind is? Why? Because the brain dislikes unfinished situations. When something feels emotionally unresolved, your attention keeps returning to it as if replaying it enough will finally produce certainty. Maybe you'll discover what they really meant. Maybe you'll finally find the perfect response. Maybe you'll finally understand why the conversation bothered you so much. So the replay begins. The problem is that each replay feels productive. It feels like you're solving something. But most of the time, you're only strengthening the habit of returning to it. The Stoics understood something surprisingly modern. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to separate what belongs to him from what belongs to other people, their opinions, their intentions, their interpretations. Those are not yours to manage. Yet replaying conversations is often an attempt to manage exactly those things. You mentally negotiate with an imaginary version of the other person. You defend yourself. You explain yourself. You try to make them understand. But the conversation you're trying to fix no longer exists. Only your version of it does. That's an important distinction. Because once the event has ended, your greatest source of stress usually isn't the conversation itself. It's your relationship with the memory of it. That doesn't mean you ignore genuine mistakes. If you spoke unfairly, apologize. If something truly needs another conversation, have it. Stoicism isn't about pretending nothing matters. It's about refusing to carry what cannot be changed. Here's something practical to try the next time you notice yourself replaying a conversation. Don't ask, how do I stop thinking about this? Instead ask, what outcome am I still hoping to change? Be honest, are you trying to make them understand? Are you trying to prove you were right? Are you trying to erase embarrassment? Are you trying to control what they think of you? Once you identify the outcome you're still chasing, ask a second question. Is that outcome still under my control? Very often, the answer is no. And that realization changes everything, because your mind finally sees the difference between reflection and pursuit. Reflection helps you learn. Pursuit keeps you trapped. You don't need to keep attending a conversation that ended hours ago, and leave the rest where it happened. That is what Stoicism really offers. Not the ability to control every interaction, but the freedom to stop reliving the ones you cannot change. If this helped you see why your mind keeps reopening old conversations, subscribe. Every video is designed to help you regain control of the part of life that matters most, your own mind. And if you've ever found yourself preparing arguments long after the other person has forgotten the conversation ever happened, the next video is for you. Because replaying a conversation is one thing, rehearsing arguments that may never happen is another entirely.